Dewalt SDS drill. Halfway through fixing it. Broke the steel ring off the end. Whole spring and everything shot out onto the back of the drill. Busted the piston and striker as well, so that's all replaced. Steel rings replaced. All put back together again. Just need to get the whole thing back together again now. I'm not going to bother greasing this just yet. I'm going to grease it just when I'm finished. Save all the mess. Spring and a washer, a wee con rod. Apologies if I don't see all the comments here because I'm working as well. I just don't spot them all. Striker's already inside this piston. Give that chamber a good bit of grease before putting it on. Heavy Bosch grease I'm using on this. No matter what brand, they all seem to come very light on the grease. Reassembled with just a wee bit more grease on them. Most of these troubles can be avoided. Best tools to repair. Generally probably Bosch or Makita. Probably the most easiest to work on. Quite well designed and quite well laid out. Bosch especially. But they all have complicated ones and they all have the easy ones. Plenty of grease in these things. And hope you have everything in place, because you really don't want to take it apart again once you've pumped all the grease on. Now these Dewalt drills, not too bad to work at, but they take a lot of screws. Torture to take apart and put back together. I get these in for repair quite a bit. The older Dewalt, the brushed version, Would have got it on a fair bit from burnt out motors, brush rings burning out, and the leads breaking or burning off. Just from people overusing the machine or overworking it. These brushless versions now still come on for repair, but for different reasons. Basically the motors are a wee bit too strong for the components inside. Things like the con rod for the pistons themselves, and the camshaft as well over this side tend to shear off just from the actual wear and use of the machine. Make sure everything's in place and located before you close it. And then more screws. You can imagine on the older model, the brushed motor, every time you had to change a set of brushes, you had to strip that entire thing apart and do all this to put it back together again. Oh, that's it. You don't always have to buy new. But then again, you can't repair everything. Most stuff, generally, unless it's a complete motor failure, can be fixed up. There are a few machines to do here tonight. I'm just doing overtime here this evening because there's a lot of machines on and I'm just not getting the time to get through them all. So I've come in here to do a few hours this evening. Just a few grinders, Bosch grinders, a few Milwaukees, maybe a Bosch hammer there as well. See if I can get through these this evening. Take the workload off for the rest of the week. Where to throw my battery? Here we go. Let that grease get through. That should be her. Ready to hammer. Spot on. One fixed. On to the next one. Now, mainly for the public here, I'll be doing their tool repairs. Most machines are just sent on here for repair. Now, next one is a Milwaukee. I'll test it first. Obviously, yeah, it's going to be the bearing. Still works. So it's a good start. If you're familiar with my channel, you know my gripes with these Milwaukees. This is a particularly common one. Bad bearing, rubbing motor. Why is this one rubbing? Is it just because of that bearing? Hope that didn't melt the housing. I can nearly guarantee that didn't fix it. Milwaukee do not fix repairs or faults in their machines. They improve on the fault. That bearing keeps failing and you keep replacing your grinder because it burns out the motor. You can guarantee they'll put an even more spray in on the next time, so more than fail. Milwaukee's all about buying new machines. Even down to the way they design their machines and then market the spare parts. They group them together so they're too expensive to buy individual spare parts. They don't sell individual spare parts. No. In America as well, Milwaukee generally, well, a lot of people tell me, have a 5-year warranty. Here in Ireland and Europe, it's a 1-year warranty. Same as any other brand. And if you want to extend it, you register it online for the extended 3-year warranty. Which nobody ever does. I don't know if it's just me, or is that camera well out of focus? I don't know. Hasn't actually melted the housing. And there's the evidence there of the way Milwaukee like their tools to fail. There wee rubber bushing holes there for wee silicone dampers to pack out the fail to hold it nice and snug and secure so it doesn't vibrate loose. They no longer put them in. Holes are there for it. They're designed in the manufacturing process. But now they just keep it out so that the tool fails a bit quicker. Trying to see why this is rubbing. So there's the rub there. That camera's completely out of focus. That's better. Why is it rubbing? Soon see. Get this bearing off now. Swap that out. Not so bad when the bearing's still intact. Bosch, generally good stuff, Bosch. All depends on what you're actually buying. Like the hammers and that, Bosch is brilliant. Cordless drills get the heavier stuff. Here's your Milwaukee quality. Made in China. No brand. Fit a good FAS bearing instead. Bit of plastic from the field melted onto it. Be alright. Press that on the rest of the way. Generally cold, as long as you keep moving, it's not too bad. Never gets too cold here anyway. Just going to use the bearing press here. There's a wee bit of wear in that housing, just there. Could be the cause of this rubbing. So burn a few holes to pack it out a wee bit. That'll pack the bearing over this way a wee bit, away from where it's rubbing. Should help it. The impact's not too bad in the screws. I always found it myself, but that's just not as bad as you think. Impact generally runs a wee bit slower, actual rotation. I find anyway, so you have a wee bit more control. But M12, yeah, handier stuff for tool repairs. I always wanted to get the wee Makita pencil drive one for taking stuff apart. Dedicated wee tool for it. But haven't got one yet. I feel that's free already. Yeah, the Makita one's pretty. There's a wee cheaper one up in the shop. Just a wee rechargeable one, you know. There's no belt, there's a built-in battery on it. They're fairly cheap, but it's not the proper one. You want the wee 10.8 volt one. The wee pencil batteries, you know. Hopefully that should be another one saved, as long as I didn't cook anything. That's her. That'll be a decent grinder if they would just put a decent bearing onto it. We'll just put a name brand bearing instead of one of them wee cheap Chinese things. And I never reattach the old discs. I always throw them away because you don't know how these things are transported on. The discs could be cracked or damaged or broken. You just don't know. Switch it on, then the thing flies apart. And the wee cheap discs generally just throw them away. Right, that's another one. Next one's another Milwaukee. What's wrong with this one? Now there's a problem. Not selecting the modes. There's not much I can do with that. Sometimes the switch can fail and start sticking on too far, but that's not the problem here. No, I have to ring the customer on that one. To fix that, you have to replace the entire motor assembly. It's not a viable repair. Next one is a Bosch. Obviously, that's the switch. Broke the wee slide switch. This is actually a very simple fix, simple wee part, only costs like €2 or so. There's a lot to do to actually replace it, sadly. Pull the whole motor out and take the whole motor section apart. And through that, you need to take the brushes out. I'm just going to have a blow with the compressor here first. Head out, pull the top out, even another wee blow actually. Obviously this is a Tyler's one. And to change that there, you have to open it to get to this wee slide switch. Slide switch goes all the way down to here. It's right there, all the way down to the switch here. And if you try to put that button on its own, this just moves out of the way. Can't actually get it pressed on. That's all you need. One wee switch, pushes onto there, no problem. Then you have to push up on this. At the same time, press this on. Easier doing this on the vise. There's all my screwdrivers away. That's it, pressed on. Simple to do, but just awkward getting them to do it. And just reassemble. There's a fairly fresh grinder. I don't think there's going to be anything else wrong with it. This is the Bosch 7115 4.5 inch grinder. This is one of the better grinders you can buy today. To me, this is one of the best you can actually buy. It's not the most powerful, it's not the biggest motor. It's a 750 watt motor. But they're very slim, very comfortable to use, extremely reliable. We sell a lot of these to engineering companies. They could be buying 10 or 20 of them at a time, and they do their own repairs on them. Only everything they need to buy for them: bearings and brushes. That's it. So if you're looking for a grinder, reasonably priced. That's the one to buy. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the Lidl stuff, you know. If you're working from home for the price of it. Plus the boys tell me a 3-year warranty on it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not going to be industrial like for trade use, but for home sort of stuff it's fine. That's another one. I have to write all these on wee repair sheets. Log them all onto the computer. Just keep the parts here together so we'll know what the hell it was at once. Another one of these. This one's seen a wee bit more use. This is a grinding disc that's on it. Diamond grinding. Flat face one. And he's got this the other way around. So only after I switched it on I seen the problem. That's the lock button for locking the blade. Obviously that's not going to lock now for me to get into this. How much damage has he done? I'm going to grab that. And the lock button to hold the disc. I've got it. Oh, you bugger. There's the pan. How much damage to the head did he do? Yeah. Bust the head. I'll have to order one of them. Yeah, easier to order. I'm going to have to spend 10 minutes walking around the workshop trying to find one. I don't think of any anyway. Nah, leave that one. Have to order that head. Order the wee lock button as well, most likely. But it'll be a simple enough wee fix. Cheap enough as well. See what else I've got out here now. The machines here to be done. That's all the on progress pile. That's all the to be done pile. So the lights are off in the shop here. I'm on after hours. What have we got? A few Halties, more Dewalts, a few pass loads. A few hammers here. What have we got? Bosch hammers, GSH11Es. I'll give one a couple of these a go. Tester here first. A lot of grease coming from the tool holder anyway. Sorry, I'm not seeing your comments here, folks. It's comments on the screen. Only just come up every now and again. Plug in the fire. She comes on the hammer when you switch her off and on. And that's it. So that's a service. Seals are gone and the grease is worn out. Basically it's first come first served, yeah. Unless somebody's in a real panic. We try to do it. Try to do it and orders when they come on. Not always possible, but we try to. This one's a full strip. So this will be a long repair. Look at the grease has leaked out of it. I've leaked out, or somebody's been pumping on the front, thinking that's going to fix the hammer. Where are you? Keep all them together. It's a dirty job, but no matter how dirty the tool's going to get, it's going to be all washed out anyway. Rise up that handle from the bottom. Now, this is the older Bosch hammer. This is the GSH11E. One of the best machines Bosch ever made. And you know it's the older one because it has flathead screws. Bosch have been making this for about 20 odd years. It's one of their flagship machines. Bulletproof basically. There's people who have had these machines for easily 20 years and are still running. Been used every day. Nut in the bottom. This connects onto the bottom of the armature on a bearing. Actually pulls the armature down. They're this old, they can be on quite tight. What year is she now? 2008. Bearing, or the sleeve is stuck onto the plastic housing. I'm pulling the whole motor out here, which I don't want to do. just not coming free. It's going. It's just taking our time. There we go. Yeah, that's due a new bearing. Changing the bearings in this as well whenever it's been serviced. So it can all be changed. Brushes have obviously been changed before, probably recently. Fairly fresh. These brush holders have to be pulled out in order for there to be enough clearance to pull the armature out. Maybe from 2008, but it hasn't done an awful lot of work. It's fairly clean. That bearing's obviously shot. Thing to watch on here is make sure there's no pitting on that flat surface here. That's where the needle bearing runs. That's just looking all right. Stuff. Jeez, very stuff. These are normally put on with Loctite. They can be stuff. Ooh, hot. Now this is going to have to be washed out as well. See the amount of actual Loctite that was put on that. No wonder there's stuff. Hammer itself. This isn't actually too bad looking. I'll try and keep this clean just in case. That's the striker. Very dry. That's the problem. A lot of grease at the front of this, but the actual rest of it isn't too bad. This may have been serviced before and somebody didn't put on enough grease. That bolt's not even been tightened up properly. It's not even been tightened down, so I'd say somebody has serviced this and just didn't really do it right. If it's dry inside, I might chance put a new seals on it. O-rings on the piston and the striker. I'm putting fresh grease on, clean out the hammer end and put it back together. That may be all this needs. Yeah. That there is the actual heavy Bosch hammer grease. You see it goes hard. So that's gotten thrown around the sides of it and everywhere else. Fills all the nooks and crannies. Over the years end dries up, gets hard. Doesn't actually lubricate the piston on the striker because it's all been thrown away. Only actually gets onto lubrication once this is running about 10 or 20 minutes and everything heats up and starts to solidify again. Then it'll start hammering. If I put on the proper grease onto that, actual right Bosch grease, this should go up and start hammering again. Something's loose there though. I don't have the hammer pipe out yet. There's the hammer pipe. And that's the piston. And she's very slack. There's the grease down in there. That's gone too dry for too long. It's all worn out, so it needs a new piston and con rod. But the gear and the teeth seem fine. The needle bearings are fine. So we'll get away with that. Right, I'll try to do this without making too much of a mess. O-rings now. 122 O-rings. Nope. 2 O-rings. This is all GSH11E parts. On a con rod. And a piston. Pin connecting these should be alright. Don't need that. I don't need that. I'm still tight enough. And your new piston. So we can keep the pin. Heavy grease is better on the needle bearings than the light stuff, so I always put the heavy stuff down there. And I'm not washing this out because it's actually not been compromised. It's quite tidy looking. I shouldn't have to wash the whole thing out. But obviously if you're doing a full service, you would be cleaning everything out. Generally that felt sleeve on top of the hammer tells you if it needs a service. There's an air hole on the top of the crank cover, and eventually grease starts to leak out and soak into this. That's what that's for, just to soak up the grease. There's nothing in that at all. So there's not been much wear since the last time it's had a service. Bosch do a light grease as well. Instead of Bosch, I'm just going to use the healthy stuff because it comes in this tub. Makes it a lot easier to work with. Reinstall your hammer pipe now. You can buy a service kit for these, all the bits and pieces you need on them. Even comes with a diagram how the machine goes together. And 90mm of grease goes onto these. When fully serviced, stripped. Because this hasn't been fully serviced, there's still grease on it. I'm not going to put on a full 90. About 70 or so should be fine. We dab a blue Loctite just to make sure these stay in place. Normally these 11Es come on for a service. They're in a fair bit worse condition. Deal with that felt sleeve, like I say, and also the needle bearing here and the oil seal. Generally the oil seal underneath will start leaking or weeping grease onto the motor section. Reuse that same felt sleeve. Just going to wash this out. I'm not going to put any more Loctite on these bolts because they're that tight to begin with. have the armature on that, the grease can drop out. I think I do need to change is the bearing on the armature. So that is gone. Bear with me, just to screw this off. X200. The metal shield bearing is better for speed. It's better for the motor because of the dusty environment there around. These things are around. Rubber sealed ones actually are a wee bit better. Help it last a bit longer. Press this on. To press this on a bearing press. So bear with me. That. Much better. These holders, because they have little fins on them, little bits of grit, and get stuck in the fins. That wee bit of grit can jam up the brushes. Just test them before you put them on to make sure they're free. Sometimes you change the brushes in these. You do a service or take the motor apart, whatever. Put everything back together again. The thing doesn't run. You think there's a problem. You could end up stripping the whole thing down again for no reason. It's just a wee tiny piece of grit, and that brush holder stopping the brush from the whole way down to make contact the armature. You can test it by just giving the armature a wee wiggle back and forth, because this isn't secured yet. You'll see that brush moving as well. That's how you know it's located right. That one's okay. Bear with me till I grab something else. Right. Let's them back together. We notch cut out in this steel ring. It locates this notch here on the holder. It's very tight. Yeah, find a little another screw missing. And this top nut, never run the machine without that in place. Like I say, that pulls on the actual motor, pulls the whole armature back down and clears the fan from the air deflector up inside. If you don't have that on, the fans are going to rub on the air deflector inside with the body of the machine, and they're going to melt together and seize. Never run it without it. Give it a wee test. Sounds good. Watch the fingies, so I can give you a nasty nip. Now, I'm going to have to go to the parts washer for this. Because it's a mess. So is my workbench. Tidy up here a wee bit. What do I do this? So I'll take these over. These aren't too bad. This is just a bit of chisel grease they put on it. Generally it comes completely caked in grease and grit and dirt. Very difficult to shift, but this is mainly just grease. Too hard to get rid of it. Need a wee bit of grease on the end of the chisel to help expel grit in that from the end of the tool holder. But you only need a little bit of grease. You keep pumping in more, you just make a big mess like this here. That grease is not going to get into the hammer itself if there's no hammer. It's not looking bad for a 2008 machine. all these washed out. I'm all patted down and dried. And get them put back into the hammer. Give her a test, make sure she's hammering right. Move on to the next one. This is kerosene I'm using in this parts washer. No special cleaning fluid, just normal kerosene or paraffin. It's perfect for just getting grease off. It does a good job of cleaning up the parts. That's everything. Give this bench a good clean. You're using the nut gun. How do you find the Makita one? Better must. Some boys find them better than Milwaukee, stronger. Some boys find the Milwaukee do it stronger, but at the end of the Makita nut guns, I find they last the best. Touch of fresh grease just on the tool holder. Wind in a little bit, you don't need to go mad with it. Clip on your retainers. Metal sleeve, rubber ring. Where'd my washer go? Steel washer and C-clip. has chisel, so just give that a wee clean too. And give her a test. That's her. That's all she needed. Bit of fresh grease and some new O-rings. A bearing to help quieten her down. Not often you get away with that generally. Hammers and that you wouldn't normally be servicing them. Like I say, this one looks like it had work done fairly recently. So I just needed a wee touch up of grease and new O-rings. That'll be a cheap enough repair there. Let's see what else we got out here. There's actually some parts on for these machines as well. There's a cookie drill there, must get a clutch gear put onto. There's a few bits and pieces on. Yeah, we'll go with that. And I'll go for a Makita cordless. Cover up phone numbers first. Runs once and stops. Sounds bad. Runs when you give it a kick. That means it's just brushes, hopefully. Now this is the good Makita drill. This is the 451. BHP 451. This was a brilliant machine back in its day. An old brushed one. It's a 3-speed Makita drill. And they took some amount of abuse. Nothing generally lasts as well as that did. So maybe a rubber bump came out. Back in. I've seen boys using these here on low speed as mixing drills, mixing tile adhesive and whatnot. Yeah, brushes are the problem here. Hopefully only brushes. That one's only halfway worn. This one is melted and broken. And that there's melted plastic from the brush ring. So there's a new brush ring too. My battery could do the charge myself. Now, is the armature damaged? That's the question. Actually, as you know. That's cooked. I could change that brush ring and the brushes and get that up and running. It's going to sound like crap. You can see the discoloration on the windings. That's been overheated. And she's been cooked. Don't know if I have another one of them armatures in stock. Regardless, I'll have to ring this fella and see if he wants to do the repair. And it's too late to be ringing him now tonight. So we'll leave that for tomorrow. Go on to the next one. See what else I can pull on here. So there's one. Another Milwaukee. Everybody's favourite. Got a rubber cover on it as well. Somebody's been taking care of it. Contacts. That bloody contact bar from Milwaukee's. They're a disaster. That's a fresher battery. It's still flapping all over the place. Speed's working on it. And we're starting to get loose. Let's even tighten up these contacts. Help this out a wee bit. 9 might need changing. (2020) machine. It's not even 3 years old yet. Still looks fresh enough. Now this is the problem with Milwaukee's. Same as any other brand. Motor, controller, one solid piece. The motor being the stator, the actual rotor and side, the armature, separate. So the stator, controller here, and the wee controller down here, that's all one piece. That's the way it is for most brands. Milwaukee's different. They also include the switch and the battery retainer. four pieces, main pieces of the board, the main piece of the machine are all part of each other. So if this goes, controller, switch, field, any of them parts go on their own, you're onto the price of the machine to replace that there unit. Just a motor unit, which is a bit of a joke. Switches can give bother. Same as all these. I think there's Mafell, are they? Can't remember the exact brand of them. Dirt gets in, starts messing up the speed. Can't really replace it unless you have a scrap machine. Can't buy it separately. But the biggest problem is this. This is the battery retainer, a receiver for your battery. And if you look at some of the older Milwaukees, especially the brushed ones, and then the new generations of brushless, back here in the back of it was a round hole for a spring used to sit on. So the old brush version had a spring for keeping that pushed forward, tightly engaged with your battery. Your versions then still had the same hole for the spring, but took the spring out. And all the generations now since, they don't even have the hole there anymore. So they know rightly that they're flopping about, burning away the contacts and wrecking the machine. So it dies sooner, so you end up buying a new one more often. They know about that. They're not fixing that simply because they want you to keep buying more machines. If there was a spring there, that problem wouldn't be happening. Every other brand sell that piece separately. Even the Makita. Makita has loads of protection for a battery. Wee dampers. Some even have wee metal plates along here for any vibration machines. And anything like the nut guns, this whole assembly here for the handle actually swivels and rotates separate from the machine, so it saves the battery and saves the contacts. You never see a Makita machine with burnt out contacts. And if you even just look at the wear on that, that's it. Of that whole contact bar there, that whole receiver, that's all the meat that's actually engaging on all four pins. So no wonder they burn out. This one's a common one because of that there problem. So you have to pack this out with a washer or something, or an O-ring, to keep that tight. And as well, because of the design of the Milwaukee battery, them 2 points there, wee skinny wee catches, is all that's retaining your battery. So all the wiggle and the banging, that there wears away this plastic on your battery and on your body of your machine. You can replace the handle, the clamshell of the machine, but you have to get the exact model and type number of the machine, because some of these electronics are different. If you get the wrong handle, this won't fit. So you have to get the right one for the right machine to fix that, or you can burn a bit of plastic into this and pack it out a wee bit to get it fitting tighter. That's what I normally do. For this here, I'm just going to use an O-ring. Just a wee quick fix on this one. If you get the right size O-ring into this space down in here, that one's too big, you can pack them out enough to stop that losing contact. That one hopefully should do it. Hopefully. There's a bit of wiggling to get this back in again now, so that is in the way. Hopefully this one isn't too thick. I can't remember the one I used the last time. That's that in. That's all the play taken out of that receiver. So it'll now be tight against the battery. No, bearing's actually not that bad. Sounds worse on that plate when it's not located. That's better. Doesn't take the plate of the battery, but at least it stops it losing contact. Might tomorrow put a wee bit of, melt a bit of plastic back onto here, pack that out a wee bit. Apart from that, not looking too bad. Also give the customer a ring just to make sure that's what it is what he left it on for. Right, it's getting late. I'm near the end of my evening. Hope anybody's been watching has been enjoying it. At least learning something. One other thing I do want to take a look at it. The Makita pen gun. It's a 23 gauge. Shot, but shot about 5. Double shot, and then jams. Have we look at this. He's working a different mechanism to the normal nail guns. So there's only a wee 23 gauge. Top cover, steel plate. Yeah, that's your pin there. And she is in jammed position basically. Pin's free. After she's shot, it'll be down about here. And she retracts back to about there before firing again. So she's only there about halfway, and she's jammed. So something is slipping inside. That's all you need to do to change your pin on these here. Take out that steel plate. Take out that pin. Your actual firing pin comes straight out. Just in case they ever break. Dead easy to change. Now this is more of a risky one. Because she's jammed, I can't put her back. She's in the wrong position and for opening. So this is going to have to go springing in order for me to work on this. Watch your fingies when they're in this position. Basically, you can see there the tension she's under. Basically what's happening, motor's driving these cogs. They're set together, rotating around, pivoting around each other. They're on this bar, they can't move, or they can't misalign. And there's 2 cams on either side. And you can see that wee curled bit of metal down in there, sitting on top of that cam, where she's jammed up. She's in the wrong position. Whenever that fires, there's two pins, two flat pieces of steel on top of that carrier that comes down. That roller catches one, and as it turns around and it's driving around, she pushes the pin back. So as they go around, this one pushes it back, this one goes up around, and as the lower one gets to here, the top one catches and takes the top pin, then takes the same driver the full way back. So that's somehow jammed now, fouled up. So I don't know if the actual gears are at fault or the driver. Either way, she's under load and she has to be taken out. There we go. Simple as that. It's easier than I thought. Normally take out them screws, cover it up, and just prise up down around here somewhere to actually release the tension. Once you start prising it, she'll pop. So what is she filing on? So this is the driver, and she's attached to here, and she's under this spring tension whenever she's driven fully back. That cam gear, flat gear there is in the wrong position. It needs to be down here, that needs to be moved. But what's actually going here? They don't actually look worn. Right. We'll look at this again tomorrow and I'll have to decide what to order. If I'm ordering this or I'm ordering them. Both aren't cheap. I wouldn't want to be ordering the two of them. Right. That'll not be fixed this evening, so I'll come back to that one tomorrow. Right folks, hope you enjoyed watching. Hope you at least learned something. This will be up anyway as a video to watch, so I'm going to call it a night here. Hope you enjoyed the stuff. If you like tool repairs, like these sort of tear down videos and repair and put back together, how-tos basically, hit like and subscribe. Plenty more to come. Thanks everybody for watching.